Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 17 of And Action. I'm Tommy DiNucci. I'm here with Mikey Messier, and we're excited to talk about a topic that I think is kind of like it's almost like the mystery of the internet. It's the mystery of communication in a lot of ways these days, and that's social media. And how do you utilize it as a branding and marketing device? How do you make that social media work for you as an actor, as a filmmaker, as a producer, as a writer, as anyone in the business trying to get a little bit further down the road? What can you do to make your social media work for you? Because it's funny, man. We're at a point now where I remember when not everyone had social media. I remember about 10 years ago when it was like some people had it, some people didn't. Seems like everybody's got some kind of social media. Even, your mom's got social media. Your grandma probably has social media. So it's an important topic, and it's something that it's a necessary evil to kind of to attack these days if you're getting involved in the entertainment world. But before we get to that, Mike, how you doing? I had some great feedback on last week's episode about stress management.
I'm glad to hear that. That was a fun episode, and that was my final of 3 episodes that I taped in New England with you, which was exciting. And thanks to all my friends who kind of helped me out when I was up in New England. My friend Bob and Morrow and yourself, people that were able to host me and help me do what I had to do while I was up there. And it's good to be back here in Florida, but it was good to be up there as well.
Yeah, it was great to have you, Mike. You're a good pal, and we just don't get to see each other face to face quite so much. So it's always nice when you can make a pilgrimage up to the north, kind of hang out, and yeah, doing the show in the same building was kind of nice too. So we had a great week. The heat has snapped. We finally got some normal weather up here. Like I said on the last show, it was just fucking brutal in the New England area for the last couple weeks. So you Mike, you brought the heat with you and you took it away when you left.
It's all my fault. I'm the weatherman. Well, yeah, and talking about heat, I mean, people get heat these days for social media posts. We see that cancel culture comes in, and at the same time, people like yourself and myself, and probably a lot of our viewers, are out there trying to make a name for themselves, whether as an actor, a filmmaker, a writer, etc. So these waters, how do you navigate them? That's what I'm looking forward to talking to you about.
Yeah, there's so much to get into, so we're gonna just dive right in. But yeah, social media, you use the word waters, and that's kind of a great way to sum it up. It is like, the fucking vast ocean out there when you're looking at social media because, it used to be just maybe one or two platforms. Maybe you had Facebook and then maybe some people had Instagram. Now we're talking Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Who knows what the next kind of budding social media platform will be. So it's almost like you need to kind of follow where all your audience is at. So for me, it's like I like to kind of focus on Instagram. I feel like Instagram and Facebook are, Facebook's kind of dying out. I think everybody kind of realizes that. But at the same time, I think Facebook's, when I say dying out, I know that, again, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but just their increased I guess you could say traffic on that site has been going down over the years, as opposed to what it should be doing, like these other platforms. You'll have to excuse me. I just had a random Pluto TV window pop up playing an old rerun of Baywatch, but I've
Oh,
actually,
it's one of your favorite shows.
yeah,
Um,
everybody knows my guilty pleasure is Baywatch. We'll get into that some other time. But yeah,
if you
Mike, I
start
think for me,
watching Baywatch Nights, you'll know you're really in trouble, Tommy.
yeah, that's
If
the
you
hard stuff. So yeah, I think the first step is just to like, kind of like see where your people are at. Yeah, for like I said, identify the kind of the spot. I said Facebook's dying a little bit. They've kind of lost some of their increased numbers. However, it's still a massive platform. It's still a place that you've got to kind of, if you're going to message to spread, that's not a bad place to go. But I think, basically all of the things that we're going to kind of get into today, all of the tips and tactics, they're kind of interchangeable for whatever platform you're on. So don't get too hung up on that. We're going to kind of get into just general strategies to increase your likes, increase your traffic to your page, and overall, just kind of remember, when your personal YouTube channel, social media page, Instagram account, that's your business card basically as an actor. So let's start kind of thinking about it like this is your interactive business card. Um, so for me, I think that, like you got to think about what do you want to put out there? What do you want the world to see? We're not talking about a personal page. I mean, anybody can kind of have a personal page that whether they're, whatever your hobbies are, you got a cat, you got a dog, that's okay. But I'm talking today, Mike and I are getting into a page that you set up specifically designed to generate attention towards what you're doing for a potential profession, which is acting, writing, directing, something involving film.
Well, Tommy, it's a lot of loaded stuff here. I mean, I've had MikeMessier.com for I think 15 years or so, and that website has evolved. And as the years have come and gone, I used to have web designers who would either work for me for free or I pay them a small stipend or whatever. And eventually, I got to the point. I did have some help from a friend of mine. She got me to the point where I could do it myself, and I do feel a lot more comfortable, and it's relatively easy WordPress and GoDaddy to manipulate MikeMessier.com. And I always enjoy it. But Tommy, a couple of years ago, it's funny you said Facebook is kind of in decline. I remember 5 or 6 years ago, people were saying that websites were in decline and people just needed to make Facebook pages. So I didn't go with that. I didn't cancel MikeMessier.com just to exclusively promote on Facebook. And I'm glad that I did that, what I did, because it seems like some of this stuff is kind of fickle, and I think that's one thing I would put out there for people. Like anything we say today, even trying to help people, you and I, 5 years from now or 5 weeks from now, that might be thrown out the window because this stuff changes so quickly.
It does. But that's why today, and you're absolutely right, but not to contradict what you're saying, but today we're going to try to talk about things that kind of will stand the test of time. Like posting strategies that no matter what the platform is, whatever it's called, if it's called LaunchTube or whatever the fuck, these are going to be things that if you follow these tips, you're going to be putting your best foot forward for whatever the future space creatures of the world are tweeting or posting about when they get like a new spaceship and they want to post about it or something. But yeah, I think you're right. Let's just talk briefly about what you said about websites. I'll admit, Mike, yeah, I've been wrong a lot lately. One thing about I think getting a little older in mature and maybe a little bit, maybe this is maturity, maybe it's just realizing that you're fucking wrong, but I've been willing to time has changed, and a lot of things that I was wrong about, I'd like to kind of come out and admit. And one of them is I was one of those people saying like, fuck websites, man. Websites are fucking dead. Nobody wants to look at your fucking website. It's very 1999 to have a website. Www dot blah blah blah. It's like a joke almost. It's not exactly the case, and I was wrong about that. Because here's what you got to think of: your website can hold a lot more information than a simple social media page can. And people can do a deep dive off of your website. And also, your website, I would think of your website, if anything, even if you don't want to go too deep with your website, a website could be just I think they're called link chains now, like a launch point, if you will, where like go to for example, like MikeMessier.com, it would have like, and you can also find me on Instagram here, find me on Facebook here. This is a link to my YouTube channel. A Linktree, that's what it's called. That's
I,
the
I
term I'm looking for.
Yeah, there is a website actually, Tommy, called Linktree. That's its own entity, but you're right. I do have all my social media
I'm
posts on
saying
my
you can, right.
com.
I'm saying you can use that concept on your website and just get
Right.
people to kind of like, okay, this gets us to MikeMessier.com, but these 4 or 5 little channels will get us to his various social media platforms. Because I think that's what's confusing. People get overwhelmed by social media. They, like we said, the vast waters. Like, where do I even fucking begin? Kind of a thing. But let's dial it back and just talk about, again, like I'm not a professional social media marketer. I didn't take any courses for this. Everything that I'm telling you today is just from the interest of these are things that have worked for me in the past. You know, they if they've worked for me, maybe they'll work for you. So for me, you got to find the key posting time. Times and days that you post your information is very key. Now, keep in mind, what am I talking about? Well, if you post something on a Monday morning, people are kind of cranky on Mondays generally. They're getting back into their week. They're not willing to kind of uh, relax and embrace some new form of information because they're just focused on getting their asses to work, drinking their coffee, turning on their emails, covering the shit that they pushed off on Friday to today. They're just getting back into the swing of things. So I find that when you post something on a Monday, you're almost like asking a lot of the audience, so to speak, because they're
Right.
already fucking going through the ringer. So it's like I try to keep Mondays as let everybody kind of wake back up, get back into their work week, and just kind of if you're going to post anything, Mondays are a great day to post something light, maybe post something fun, funny, if you have something comical. But I wouldn't want to plan like a major call to action. Like, for example, we just announced Knockout Blonde will be playing at the Voices Rising Film Festival. And I specifically waited because, we found that information out on a Friday. And I didn't want to post it on a Friday. We'll talk about that why in a minute. I didn't want to post over the weekend. I didn't want to post on Monday. So I waited until Tuesday
Right.
and it was a fairly successful post. I feel as though, again, now we'll talk about why Tuesdays are great days to post. By Tuesday, we've gotten a little bit of a handle on our week. We're getting to work a little bit more of a positive vibe, and we're probably ready to see, all right, what else is going on with my life here? Let me check back into reality a little bit. So Tuesday gives everybody a chance to kind of like you're almost eager to learn something new about the budding week up ahead by Tuesday, and you get the case of the Mondays out of your system. So I find Tuesdays to be big. Wednesdays are great. Thursdays are also, what Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's the meat of
Sweet
the
spot.
week right there. That's your sweet spot. That's when you want to be kind of driving people to click this link or watch this video or check this out. That's when you want to kind of be aiming to really put your best posts out. Again, Friday's a good post for like something funny and light, kind of like Monday, off the same reasoning for Monday being like kind of a all right, by Friday everyone's week's done. But here's the thing, you probably wouldn't want to post something too important because people aren't going to really embed that in their head on Friday.
Yeah,
On a
they're
Friday, just basically on a Friday, like you're done, you're spent, you're emotionally and physically spent. You're already thinking about your own personal weekend plans. And frankly, you're not willing to give that much on a Friday.
and for the people that have traditional office jobs, a lot of people, even by Thursday at 4 o'clock are starting their weekend. I mean, there's a lot of
True.
people, but Friday, try getting something accomplished on Friday at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you're trying to get through to somebody in an office, it's harder and harder, especially in our 2022 society. I totally agree with you, Tommy, that those days, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, are the sweet spot. I'd even kind of push towards the first half of that, like Tuesday and Wednesday, I think is stronger than Thursday, even because I think even by Thursday, people are kind of looking at their clocks and their calendars and their vacation plans and getting on with themselves. So, you
No,
know,
that's true, and a lot of people, not to go, take a detour, but, it's not as much of a thing as it used to be a few years ago, but Throwback Thursday is still a thing. People still like to, like, Thursday is almost, like, reserved for, like, people love to, like, put images of the past and relive some bullshit. So I agree with Mike. I think that if you really have something important to say and an important message that you wanna draw a lot of eyes to, Tuesday, Wednesday, go for broke on those 2 days. Um, and obviously weekends are kind of dead. The weekends are kind of dead because most people, frankly, are just not on their phones as much. They have plans. They've got a life. They're going out and doing they thing. They're not, uh they're not gonna sit down and watch a link or click a video. They're probably out living life. Um, so Mondays want to avoid, weekends avoid, Tuesdays, Wednesdays hit them hard. Um, so overall, like the kind of content that you're posting, we said this a little bit earlier, but like, you want to put yourself out in the public eye, like you're kind of a brand now, and you got to think about yourself like a brand, and you got to be careful about what you post, and you almost got to. I'm not saying you got to be stiff or you got to be, you know, stuffy and you got to be PG rated or whatever. I'm not even talking about that, but I'm saying treat yourself like a brand. So go take a look at some of the stars and successful people that you're trying to emulate, and see what they do. Try taking a page out of someone else's book that's already done it and is successful. For me, I love looking at The Rock's social media page. To me, The Rock kind of does it right. The Rock has exciting visuals in most of his videos and most of his posts. It's like something that you want to see. It's either like something really cool from one of the movies that he's made, or it's just him all jacked up looking like a monster in his gym, or it's him fishing and catching some massive fish that he's doing just for fun. The point is,
Right.
like, he's always got a really cool visual. He's always got a great message. He's able to tell that great message in a short, concise 30 to 60-second promo that he can cut. And he's human. He humanizes himself in his videos. I've seen him make a mistake and just keep going, or say the wrong thing and switch it up, or, you know, not be afraid to make himself the brunt of a joke if he has to. Again, like, people that are successful tend to be aware, and he's very aware in his videos and aware of himself and aware of the element of, and this is kind of like segues into my next kind of point, be human, humanize yourself. Find out what it is that you can kind of present to the world where, yeah, you're getting your message out, but you're also human. You're not some goddamn creature that was created in a laboratory. You're a real person.
Let me jump in with my favorite rock post from the last couple of years. It was during the middle of the lockdown, so to speak. And The Rock posted, I think on Instagram, a photo of his security gate from his own home, like mangled and out on his front lawn. And his post read something to the effect of, my security gate was stuck and no one was around to help me get my truck out of it, or and so I just had to tear it off with my bare hands because the film production people were waiting for me, hashtag whatever. And I was like, and people gushed and gawed over it. And I said, what a humble brag, like, not only can you afford to have a security gate at your own home, not only are you making a feature film, which I'm sure was worth millions upon millions, so to speak, but not only can you make a feature film in the middle of this lockdown when most people can't do anything, but you also have the physical strength to rip that
He could literally
security right off. So I,
rip the
I
gate open.
I saw it as, like you said, human and funny, but at the same time, he's still letting you know that he can bench press 400 pounds or whatever. It was good.
Yeah, he's able to, again, not to keep championing The Rock here, but it's just he's able to just kind of check all of the boxes, incorporate all the elements that make him The Rock, that make him exciting, that make people want to, kind of be his pal. He's able to put it all together in one little 60-second video. I mean, there's an art form to it, guys. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at today. Like, I think a lot of people, they go to make a little promo video and then they just like they get tense and they're like not sure what to do. It's really fucking hard and it's challenging. And here's the best part about it. You got your video camera. You don't have to nail it on the first time. I mean, if you want to let's say you just did a short film and you want to make a little video to promote it, shoot the thing 3, 4 times, 4 or 5 times until you get the right one. Make sure that's the other thing. I think people like gloss over this shit a little too much. And, you know, we love to use the word overthinking. Everybody, like, I feel like I've heard the word overthinking. That's like a buzzword of the year. Everyone overthinks. I'm overthinking this, overthinking that. There's fucking memes that say overthinking. How about there's a lot of motherfuckers that are underthinking shit? Maybe more people should start worrying more about fucking underthinking everything. And this is one situation where I think people underthink social media sometimes, and they're not realizing that, like, A, this shit's out there forever, for the most part, unless you take it down. And B, it's very impactful what you post. People remember that shit, and they're very quick to kinda, like, move to the next topic. So if you're not keeping your post exciting and thoughtful, eh, you're probably not gonna catch on. It's not gonna catch that heat unless you, like, really, took the time to make something that's gonna make someone stop their busy fucking day and pay attention to you for a couple seconds.
Tommy, it's great points, and I want to ask you, because I think you probably do a better job of this than I do personally, but the navigation of being human, as you were about to say a few minutes ago, to me, that sometimes being human translates in practical terms to showing vulnerability or weakness or things that you're upset about or things that you're confused about in the world. It could be a Brittany Griner getting arrested in Russia, and you could have a loaded opinion on that one way or the other, or you could have an opinion on these school shootings and putting some of that stuff out there. If you're trying to get ahead as an actor or a filmmaker, might be off point, so to speak. But yet, if you're trying to express your humanity and be someone that people can relate to, wouldn't you have opinions on these controversial topics? So I'm just kind of curious,
Sure.
uh, do you have any personal take on that? Do you avoid controversies, or do you put one toe in, or what do you do? Because I probably do things counterproductive when I think about it.
Well, that's definitely, we're jumping ahead a little bit, but I think it's a good time to do so as, what's up, Kim? Kim Kaling just checked in to say what's up. Good to have you on the show with us. For me, Mike, I think a general rule of thumb is if you avoid anything political, you really can't go wrong because that's not what we're there for. We're entertainers. We're there to create an escape. We're there to provide, hey, that kind of talk is door number one. We're here to provide door number two for the people that don't want to go in door number one. So I've always personally tried to just avoid politics altogether and a lot of controversial topics. The reality is, for me, I don't really know a whole lot about politics. I'm not super tapped in politically, and I'm certainly not one of those people that's going to go spouting out the mouth about shit I don't know about. So for me, it's kind of just like I guess you could use the phrase. Here's another catchphrase of the year that I've heard a lot in 2022. Stay in your lane. I kind of like
Sure.
stayed in my lane. Again, like I said, I don't know a lot about that stuff, so I'm not about to go form an opinion that may not be properly informed, and then get a bunch of people pissed off at me for an opinion that I don't really even feel that strongly about. So I tend to just, as an entertainer, avoid it altogether. Now, you mentioned tragedies. I think when something tragic happens as people, it's one of those things where, like, again, we're not doing this for likes. We're not trying to prove that we're human. But I think just as a person, you can't help but, when something god awful happens, say something or tribute people. How about this? I don't know if you defined it as, it's not a school shooting tragedy, but Olivia Newton-John passed away last week. Rest in peace, Olivia Newton-John. You're damn right. I made a tribute post to her, and just posted a really nice picture and was thinking about her. So I think those are little things that humanize you. Again, like, not that you're out there waiting for a celebrity to die so you can post about them, but I think it's when I said humanizing, I'm talking about things like um, post about something you enjoyed doing, like post about, again, like, this is the bad dialogue. We use that phrase in the writing room a lot. And what that phrase means, if you're not down with it, if you're not down with writing lingo, when I say this is the bad dialogue, that's basically like me saying, like, this is just like the first crack at it. It obviously wouldn't be this. But the bad dialogue of just a humanizing post would be like, wow, it's gorgeous out. I just took the best walk. Went for a nice walk. Maybe it's a picture of a pretty sunset or some shit. Those are just like normal things that occur, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
I can get that. I guess another thing, Tommy, that sometimes people don't realize that the platform you and I are on right now, YouTube, is technically a social media platform. I mean, a lot of people think of YouTube as like a streaming service or a free online set of videos, original stuff, and stuff that's kind of pirated from the 1970s through 2000s that people upload, material like that. But it technically YouTube is a social media platform As you know, I've been doing a lot of stuff on my subscribe to Mike Messier YouTube channel. I do film reviews, and that's always something that I feel like if a new film comes out, especially like a horror movie that a lot of younger people are going to want to go see, I try to get to the theater and see that movie as soon as possible to put my reaction video of the horror film up, because the longer that I wait to see the film, the longer that it takes me to get that reaction video up, the more competition from other film reviewers will be online. So I try to go see those movies as soon as possible in the theater so I can do my reaction videos as soon as I can.
Yeah, I think that's a kind of a really cool niche that you've carved out. If you haven't checked out Mike's reaction videos, go over to his YouTube channel and check them on out. But yeah, I think that, again, like Mike's got a niche right there. I think that you can find your niche. I think niche posting is key. That's a fun chapter. Call it niche posting. There are a lot of people that have kind of. I almost look forward to them, but I'm a geek, so like we're going to talk about action figures now. There are a couple of guys that I follow that post these really cool action figure pics, and I like look forward to them, like destination programming every week to kind of see them, and they're kind of just known for that. Now, I'm not saying you need to be known. You need to go like take pictures of toys to get me excited about you, but find what it is that you can do that's kind of niche, that's kind of unique to you. That's again, go back to that word humanizing. What kind of posts can you make that, in addition to your film posts, make me say, like, oh, this person's kind of interesting. This is a little different. Stephen E just checked in with us. Good to have you on this week, Stephen. We're coming at you a little different on Wednesday. This week, kind of, I don't know about everybody else, but this is one of those weeks that, like, man, I can't believe it's already Wednesday. The summer is just zooming by at a rapid pace. Um, but here we are, nonetheless, episode 17, if you can imagine. But yeah, I think that find your niche, find what it is that you post about that's kind of cool and unique to you that people can kind of almost look forward to in a way. Um, so we talked a little bit about posting times in terms of days of the week. We didn't talk about times of day. I've had some sort of conflicting thoughts on this from people that I've chatted with. I personally think the morning is the best time to post, and I have a reason for that. My reason is if you post something in the morning, it allows the post the chance to catch fire and be commented on, liked, shared all day long. If you post something, and I've had other people say, well, you should post in the afternoon, 3, 4 o'clock. That's when people are like winding their day down and they're more likely to be checking their social media or whatever. And yeah, I think there could be some truth to that. But at the same time, I think that you're missing a big traffic peak period in the morning when, hey, we all do it, man, right? And for me, like I've been trying to get a little bit better about this. Um, maybe you guys can try this at home. But like, what do we all do for the most part? And I don't mean to generalize, but we all wake up, whatever, kind of wipe the sleep out of our eyes, and we grab our phone. It's usually like the first fucking thing that we do. Um, and maybe it's just to check the time, just what time is it, or maybe our alarm clock's going off on our phone, whatever. But usually the first thing our fucking eyes see every morning is our phone. And with that, and we usually can't fucking help ourselves, but usually you check the phone, and then the first thing you do after that, you can't help it. You're going to check on social media, right? You're going to go to your Instagram, you're going to go to your Facebook, and you're going to see, hey, were there any nocturnal creatures checking on my stuff? Did any of the late night, the third shift, we'll call them the social media third shifters, did they post anything that I liked? Did they like any of my shit? So we can't help that. This should have been on last week's show, but try taking like 5 minutes, even maybe 10, to just not look at that phone. Make your coffee or whatever, and in that time think about what you're going to do. What's your game plan? Maybe you could be thinking about what you want to post, but because a lot of times we shoot that first post out early, but it's good to just get away from the noise for a little bit and let your brain just naturally wake up, because I can't it's nuts, man. Steven just said it. Wake up, grab that phone. That's
Yeah, I
exactly
have that.
what we do.
I have that issue as well, Tommy. I think even today I woke up and somehow I was able to get to a piece of paper and a pen and write down a bunch of to do stuff before the world caught up to me or before I caught up to the world and check those social media things. And I'll say just kind of reinforce your point from a few minutes ago about posting early is a good strategy if you really want something to gain momentum. The reason for that is the simple phrase, nothing attracts a crowd like a crowd. The more that your initial post, photograph, link, whatever it is, announcement, the more and the quicker it gets a bunch of likes, that compounds like compound interest in the course of a day. And by the time the afternoon and the night comes, you're not on an even battlefield with the guy that's just posting at 9 o'clock at night. You're far ahead of him because your post or your photo has got all this snowball of interest. And you have in the notes here algorithms. I mean, it's a mystery, but in some ways it's just simple common sense. If you post something and it gets 20 likes in a minute, whatever social media app you're on is more likely to promote your post, whether it's a YouTube video, a Facebook, Instagram post, whatever. It's more likely to promote it because those companies are in business to keep eyes on screens. That's how they make their money through ad revenue. So if they see, even if it's automatic computer stuff, if it sees that your post has got some heat, some momentum, some snowballing energy, it's going to reinforce that. And
Yeah, it's going
so,
to try to force it up the timeline, so to speak.
right, right. People often, Tommy, I don't know if you've experienced this, but sometimes you or I or my friend Kim has said this as well, that you'll post something and you're expecting like everyone to be awesome and that's great, good job, and you get little to no response. It's because you might have posted that at 9 o'clock at night, or if the Super Bowl is on, or if there's some breaking news story about the world, you may not be getting that social media energy at that exact moment. Another reason why a couple of years ago people were kind of endorsing these social media tricks to kind of like put out your posts with, like you program your post weeks in advance and stuff goes out. The problem with that is if there's some major life world crisis going on and your post about your
Right.
hairstyle or your music video goes out and there's the some famous celebrity just died in a horrible train wreck or something, you're going to look like a jerk for not being sensitive to world events. So there's all types of pros and cons to this stuff.
Yeah, Stephen E just makes a great point. And with Facebook, they don't let all your followers see the post. It's this real cloak and dagger stuff. There's a shroud of secrecy involving in like how these things work. I've heard crazy shit, man. I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theorist. I can't help it. I love a good story. I think that's what it is. Most conspiracy theories are kind of like interesting stories and it kind of makes you think. So ever since I was a kid, I've loved a good conspiracy theory. So I've heard this one, and maybe you've heard it too. I've heard that if you put words like click the link below and check it out, or check out, like if you literally use words like click the link, or check this out, or check out, or watch my video, like the computer, and it wouldn't be that hard for them to do this technologically, has the ability to actually key in on words like that, like watch this, click that, check out, and take your post and take a big shit on it and fucking drive it down to the fucking bottom of the list, so to speak. And do you know why they do that?
Because
Conspiracy
that's
theory.
sure.
Update conspiracy theory. But do you know why they do that? Because I don't know this in fact.
I want to take a guess what you're thinking if I can.
Please, please.
Because if you're saying check out this link or check out this website, you're taking the viewer's attention off of, say, Facebook or whatever program it is, whatever platform. You're saying
Well,
leave Facebook to go to this, leave Facebook to go to that, and they don't want people to leave.
you are close. I don't think you're wrong. I think you're part right, but Stephen E just nailed it, and I'm going to post it up right here.
Oh,
Bam.
there you
There's
go.
the answer. They want you to pay for their Facebook advertising dollars.
Right.
They want you to put a little $25 spin on that post and try and get a little heat behind it. So I guess what you could let's talk about paying to promote first off while we're on the subject. I've done this before. I've paid ad to kind of gain attention to something. But you wanna be careful about doing this. It does work. You can certainly get new eyes on your product, but it's like anything else that you're gonna spend money on. You're spending money, so you gotta weigh out the, is it really worth it to get these extra eyes on it? For me, I've always been happy with it. I'm not gonna say that it hasn't been successful anytime I've tried a Facebook campaign for money. Has it knocked my fucking socks off to the point where I'm like, "Oh, well, we have to do this every single time." No, it hasn't.
Right.
Which tells me that maybe there are more creative ways, and that's why, again, this is a conspiracy theory. We don't know this for sure, but maybe, and I try to do this, and I hope Facebook's not listening. They're going to be like, "Fuck you, Danucci. We know what you're up to." But I try to actually mask my calls to action in terms of the terminology that I'll use in the post. Like instead of being like, watch this link or here's the link, or I'll just drop the link down and I'll put like an emoji of like a finger pointing down and let people, they're not, people are fucking smarter than you give them credit for. You don't need to tell them to click the link to have them click the fucking link. They see a goddamn link there. They're not stupid. So I've just been trying recently to like avoid words like check this out. Avoid words like watch my video. Avoid words like click the link because those fucking robots, man, they're wise to that shit.
I can give another example of what you're saying, Tommy. For when I try to promote the Avalonia Festival, if I put the Film Freeway direct entry page link into a Facebook post, uh, I can only do that a certain amount of times before I get a message saying you're spamming. We're stopping you from posting this because you're spamming in all these different film groups, right? But if I do the same exact post, but just take out the Film Freeway page and put avaloniafestival.com, which is a private WordPress GoDaddy website, which they have no idea what that is, meaning the algorithms, there's no problem. So I mean, sometimes you just have to think outside the box a little bit,
A little
because
trickery, buddy. A little trickery.
yeah, and they're making their money. We know that. Get a lot of great points, Tommy. It's there's so many things you can say about social media. What else should we
Yeah,
go
I
to
mean, I
here?
think, just I think some of the don'ts that I think to consider, obviously don't alienate yourself. Don't go looking for a fight. There's a lot of people that are kind of like these internet, they're like the bullies in a on a hockey team, the kind of the guys that get out on the ice just to push people around and just to get in fights. And you don't need that shit. Don't go looking for a fight. And if someone tries to pick a fight with you, meaning like they post something that, maybe you post something up and then they put a contradictory comment or they try to talk some shit or they try to throw a low blow your way, don't even give them the fucking satisfaction of fighting them or arguing with them. Do you know what people like that get? They get the result of these wonderful tools that have been created. And those tools are called the block button, the mute button, the delete comment, the hide comment. Fuck those people, man. Don't even waste your fucking time. Our time is so precious on this planet. Don't even waste 30 seconds of your goddamn life putting together a response to that kind of negativity and bullshit. Because guess what? You're never going to change them. These internet trolls, these people that just want to talk shit, these people that just want to dunk on everything they see just because they're frankly mean motherfuckers. Don't even give them the satisfaction. They're sitting there in their mom's basement by the computer, just waiting for you to respond to their shit so they can know that they got a fucking rise out of you. So don't give them that satisfaction. Like Stephen E says here, it's not worth your energy or your time. It really isn't. So don't be fighting with people on the internet. You're all adults. You don't need that bullshit. Block them, mute them, unfriend them, unfollow them. You know what I do sometimes? If someone, and here's the thing too, this is the best part. If you don't want to offend the clowns, because we're sensitive people, right? I'm a sensitive guy. Even though you're a fucking piece of shit and you're posting some fucking negative bullshit on my page, I still feel bad for you because you're a fucking loser. And I feel bad for that. So you know what I do? I don't even block them sometimes. I hit hide. I hide the comment. for their own satisfaction. I'm doing them a favor. I'm saying, you know what,
Right.
you stupid motherfucker. I'm going to just hide your comments. So I'm not going to let anyone else drink that poison. Nobody else will see this. You will sit there wondering, why didn't Tommy respond? Did anyone else see this? You're hidden, motherfucker, because you don't exist and you mean nothing
Well,
to me. You're
it's
not even
funny.
worth a fucking unfriend. You're not even fucking worth that.
Good rant. It reminds me of just last week, buddy. I was posting that I was there in New England, and there was a little bit of a gathering, and some a friend of mine actually posted, "Well, geez, thanks. Why didn't you tell me?" And I gave a reaction that was pretty visceral, pretty intense. And then hours later, I saw that very same person on a film set, and of course, in real life, it's all hugs and kisses and handshakes and all that good stuff. And so I went back later and I hid the original comment and I erased my comment. Um, but
So
I
you got a
get it.
little hot, Mike. You got a little hot, did you?
I did get hot because the accusation, the way that I felt was, hey Mike, in the middle of all the stuff you're doing in New England while you're here, you forgot that I'm your number one priority. This person
Right.
that's obviously married to someone else is a friend, but not someone that I've ever gone on Hollywood vacation with or something. And just kind of the implication that I've got nothing better to do but then to look up every single person
Sure.
I know.
Or that you, and this is a thing, this is probably better for last week's episode, but like for the stress episode, but like it's to say that you intentionally went out of your way to not invite that person. Like,
Right.
you weren't trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
No, it was just a simple thing of it wasn't even my event in the first place, but it's one of those things, Tommy. It goes back to last week, stress and social media. I remember, Tommy, in my own personal life, I think it was maybe 2010 to 2015 was really pretty intense for me with Facebook in particular. And if you might recall, because you knew me at this point, I actually disavowed.
You used to John, not to interrupt, but you used to get into it with a lot of people on social media, and you had a hard time of walking away from a fight.
Yeah, I got into a lot of fights in even the Hollywood East Actors Group, it started off as a great Facebook group by our mutual friend Erica Derrickson, but then it quickly became a land of fights and threads and
But well,
accusations.
real quick, I will say Seth Chitwood is now running the show, and he's doing a great job with it. He's really cleaned that site up. So shout out and sip of the coffee to Seth
Yeah,
for taking care of that website, because it is a great tool for people.
yeah, he's cleaned it up, but
But
my
anyway,
point is
like
just
you used to get into a lot of fights, and you've
I got
learned.
into a lot of I got into a lot of fights, Tommy, a lot of arguments. I took things personally. And as I mentioned last week, I ended up blocking a whole lot of people from the New England film scene on Facebook, even people that I got along with in real life. I thought that they were too high wired or too argumentative on Facebook. So I felt the need to block them. And that has calmed down. And what I did, Tommy, I had to go to the extreme of basically deactivating and ending my original Facebook account. I was
Wow.
off Facebook for about 6 months. I did a
Jeez.
bunch of research. I wrote an article that's still on MikeMessier.com, Living for Likes, where I took all these articles from the New York Times and I kind of cross-referenced other articles and then gave my opinion on different things. That was actually republished by Privacy Journal by my late great friend Bob Smith. And basically, I really did some analysis on the trends of social media, how they've experimented with people, especially Facebook, have experimented with users to see that if they post negative things like about people dying and so forth, if that further engages people or less engages people. So I really had an awakening, Tommy. And for a while, I have come back to Facebook. I do have an account. I do use it, but I've dramatically changed since that 6 month break, 7 years ago. I really am more aware of how this thing is working. Uh, and like now I know what I don't know, which is I don't really know what they're monitoring. So I'm very more selective and careful with what I put out there on Facebook in particular.
Well, that's a good way to be, Mike, and I'm glad that you've kind of gotten past the need to stop and duke it out with every, frankly, dumb fuck on the internet, because if you sat there and tried to have a sparring bout with every idiot online, you could waste your whole fucking life just battling with these morons. So, good for you to kind of realize that you got to rise above that. Real quick, let's check in here. Stephen E says the block or hide button is your best friend, bro, and that's couldn't be more
Good
truthful.
point.
Someone just did that to me. An actor who I haven't seen in a year hit me up 3 times to help fix a student's resume. Give someone a chance to respond. So guess who they didn't respond to? Guess who didn't respond or fix it?
Stephen
Yeah,
E. Didn't respond.
people
Good for you.
people are they're crazy at what they expect out of you. Learn like the rest of us. Google University. That's true. That's funny too. And not to now we're kind of being a little. We're just being like a little fucking so in circle. But you know what's funny? What annoys me? We'll do like a little what annoys me bit,
Sure.
and then we'll get into this, which is important. Protect your peace at all cost. But what annoys me is when people post a question to their buddies on Facebook or whatever, and the question could easily be answered on Google. Like,
Right.
why are you asking the fucking friends on Google that shit? Like,
What
or
was the
anything.
Eagles' first album? What,
Yeah,
what
like
was the
what?
first album released by the Eagles?
Look it up. Does anyone
Yeah.
know a good carpet cleaner? How about the
Right.
fucking yellow pages? So anyway, let's just kind of move along here. Again, we're
Sure.
talking about some things that can really help you. Let's talk about on-set picks. We've been kind of battling this back and forth. We talked a little bit about it on the stress show last week. I'm personally all for posting an on-set pic and having that shit on your social media if it's done appropriately, if it's not offending the production or the actor that you're working with in any time. But I think all actors, you should try to find it, and this shouldn't be your main mission while you're on set, but it should be like a side objective. If you were playing some kind of a James Bond type video game, this would be mission A, which is just don't piss anyone off and do your fucking job. That's mission A. And mission B, mission C, somewhere in there, find your one really cool social media opportunity on that day. Whether it could be something simple, like, again, it could be just like one of those fucking arrows that say to set, and it's just like an arrow that points to set. And you take a nice, simple, classy picture of that arrow and you say, back to work. Like, see, to me, that's a sexy post. That's the kind of post that adds a layer of intrigue. It's just an arrow that says to set, and you're saying back to work. Ooh, what are you working on? What's going on? What are you doing? Whereas, sometimes like the I'm cheesing by Crafty in my fucking Victorian costume, it's a great pick, but it might not be as cool, as mysterious, as sexy as just a picture of that arrow that points in a direction. It says like to set. So again, marketing. Think of yourself like you are that new hit item. Like I don't know if anyone watched Mad Men, but like think about like when you market yourself. Picture like you've got the whole team from Mad Men in an office, and they're saying, "Huh, how are we going to put this out there to the world? What do we want to show? What's great about you? What can we really get people excited about this product?" And guess what? You're the fucking product. So, go back and think about, remember, this is all marketing, advertising. You're advertising yourself. So that's kind of just remember a cool picture of something on set might be even more intriguing than just your face on set. That's just one little idea. Um,
One thing you
Obviously, I was just gonna say, like, this is just a rule of thumb. Like, always check with the production and make sure that you can post something before you do, because I don't want you to wind yourself on some kind of a "don't call ever again" list because you got in trouble because you gave away some shit.
Yeah, I was going to say that you, in the upcoming months, are going to have a great social media boost, I think, Tommy, because you've got Megan Fox, of all people, in your film, uh, Johnny and Clyde, as basically one of the lead characters. And she has such a presence online, such a social media following. I hope that she's able to, retweet or post some her involvement in the film and get some attention for you for that one. I'm excited for you for that.
Thanks, man. And it's funny you mentioned that. That's something that remember we talked about. Like everyone's worried about overthinking. but there's not enough people worried about underthinking. So I am overthinking how I'm going to approach that. I have already been thinking about, I've got a lot of great Megan Fox content that I'm not allowed to post until the film comes out. So you better believe I'm already kind of like thinking about my strategy and like, oh, this is a great picture with me and Megan on set. I'm definitely going to put this one out like right around the time when the movie drops. Oh, maybe a couple weeks later when we need to fan a little more fire on it, we'll put this one out. So, I'm overthinking all that stuff, and it's the positive kind of overthinking. It's the overthinking that leads to Bill Belichick style over preparation to the point where like I know where every person is on the field at all times. I know that if we go this way, the linebacker's going to move this way, the safety's going to come up and help us out a little bit against the run. So you got to be a little bit mindful of how you want to present it and plan it out. I don't think enough people plan their social media out like
Right.
literally like a week in advance. Like I'm telling you, this knockout blonde post that I put out yesterday, I had been like I've been like looking at that thing like a high fastball that I'm ready to drive out of the park for like 4 days, but I had to wait for the right time to post it because I knew that, sort of like what you were saying earlier about, when you and Kim were chatting, I knew that if I wasn't careful, I could put that out at a weird time and like, 20 people like it, and suddenly like nobody gives a shit.
Well,
Um,
oddly enough, I was on Instagram today as Avalonia Fest, and that post from Knockout Blonde, specifically the film poster, was one of the first things I saw. So I gave it the old heart, or Avalonia Festival in my name, gave it the heart. But I really like that film poster. For those that don't know, it's the trainer of Lennox Lewis who transitioned to a female at some point in life. And so you got like the two different faces, male and then female, with the boxing ring backdrop. Very cool image. So hopefully people will see that. And I was going to say, Tommy, earlier, one thing that's interesting about Instagram is that it's so, and you taught me more about Instagram than before. I still have things to learn about it. It's very photography oriented. Facebook, to me at least, I'm kind of more comfortable there because it's kind of word oriented. And I guess what's left is TikTok, which I've never done TikTok, but that's very quick video oriented. To me, it's something that I've kind of thought about jumping in on the TikTok thing, even though it's a couple of years old now. But I don't know if I want to dance, and I don't know if that's a requirement for TikTok. But I don't know, man. It just seems like these different platforms have, in LinkedIn, I mean, that's like, it used to be like the stodgy old LinkedIn, I'm going to get a job. But now it seems like that's loosened up a bit. Twitter, of course, that's kind of like very fight inducing. Twitter. I had an account there for 3 or 4 years, Tommy, the Angry Wrestling Fan Twitter account. I actually got kicked off the platform, and I'm not upset about it because I was sick of it anyway. So there's just so many things to know about. Do you do
It's a
TikTok,
vast
Tommy? Or
ocean. It's a vast ocean. I actually have a TikTok account, but I don't really fuck with it very often. I do plan on getting into it in the next year. That's probably going to be the next venture to go into that world. Because again, I mean, hey, if a tree falls in the woods and no one's around to hear it, did it make a sound?
guess not.
I guess not. And it's like if there's all these people, millions and millions of people out there sharing messages out there in the world of TikTok and you ain't on it, you're probably missing out, you know? Um, so I think that that's something to think about. Let's see here. Stephen E. Checking in with Stephen E. Protect your peace. The thing is, he showed the person. The thing we're talking about this resume guy again. The thing is, I showed the person years ago how to do a resume, so obviously they didn't pay attention. And then you send it to me and ask how to do it. Yeah, thanks for listening, pal. It's like you feel like saying, uh, how are you teaching them if they haven't mastered the basics? Yeah, people need to show a little initiative, you know? Mike Braga checks in. What's up, Mike? What's up, guys? Tapping in here. Instagram has converted more to the TikTok style, which now pushes photos out of the timeline in favor of Reels. Users are more likely to see an increase in interaction on Reels just because IG wants to push their new Reels feature. True, Michael. Instagram sends me messages about making Reels. Yeah, I agree, Mike. And recently, I've been trying to really get the reel game going. I've been putting out a couple reels a week, even if it's like simple as literally Mike was making a fucking microwave. He was making a fucking DiGiorno pizza at my house last week. And I was like, yeah, let's fuck around. Mike, it's kind of comical. Mikey just making pizza in my kitchen. And we just made like a stupid little reel video. And like literally like hundreds of people liked it and thousands of people watched it. Like I couldn't believe it. It got thousands of views. And I'm like, Mike's right. Mike speaks the truth. They want you to be watching these reels. So if you're on Insta and you got a message, make a little video and just tell it in a reel. And you know what's cool about the reels too? And I've been kind of enjoying this. Remember, filmmaking's not a natural thing. All right. It ain't like it's not like running, it's not like jumping, it's not just something that you're naturally good at. So when you're making these reels, like you're actively editing and you're utilizing your skill set and you're cutting together a little video and you're I know it sounds crazy, but you're making a film. Like
Right.
your little reel, your little 45, 60-second little reel, it's a mini movie. And you should treat it like that. You really got to treat everything you put out on social media like this is a film. This is like an art form and take it seriously. And then maybe other people will take it seriously. Um, let's see here. And yes, Stephen E. DiGiorno is where it's at. And Mike and I are suckers for a late night pizza, to be honest with you. Big
Big
Mike's
Mike.
Pizzeria,
I
direct
don't know if that's
competition of little. Yeah, it is. This is Big Mike's. Mike's
right.
saying that we should make a Big Mike's Pizzeria. I think
Oh, there you go.
people would go dine at Big Mike's. All right, couple other things just to talk about as we close this show out and wind her down. Um, don't be offensive. All right, here's one. Ready? Even when they attack you, handle it with a cool head. Just don't let because they're gonna take the fucking shots at you. We kind of already went over that. But I'm saying like even when someone goes out of their way to fuck with you, don't engage. Just it's
Right.
not worth it. And here's one too. Be nice. There are a lot of times, and I'll admit I'm a human. I've done this before, and I don't anymore. But there have been times when, like, when someone's wrong, and they're fucking wrong, like unequivocally wrong, without a
Sure.
fucking doubt, and you're so tempted to just let me just post a little comment and just correct this person a little bit. Don't do it. It's not fucking worth it. It's not worth it. Let them be a fucking idiot by themselves. Because a lot of times when you try to teach someone something, they'll naturally just get offended by it. They can't fucking help themselves. Don't even fucking engage. It's going to get lost in the sauce. So if you see something and someone's dead fucking wrong, just let him be a fucking idiot. Because if you try to coach him up, if you try to help him, if you try whatever, it's only going to get splashed back in your face. I don't give a fuck. It's the truth. And Stephen
I'm
E agrees
laughing
with
because
me.
that's what I do all the time.
Truth bomb.
whenever,
Keep your energy high. What you put out, you get back in. You do that all. Is
whenever
that what are you a big corrector, Mike?
yeah, if I see a there, or if I see, a number of things, the whole pro wrestling Facebook group, if someone puts some fact that's wrong about how many times Ric Flair beat Dusty Rhodes for the NWA World Title, I'll
Well,
correct them.
hey,
I'll hop
I'll
in.
defend you, buddy. That's a little different. That's a little different because A, it's wrestling and that shit's close to me. And B, you're
Right.
talking about like an actual historic thing or whatever. Like I guess I'm talking about when marketing yourself as a filmmaker. You know what I
I see.
mean? Like
Yeah.
if you saw, and I should have an example with what I'm talking about. But I guess what I'm saying is, all right, traditionally, and everybody knows this, like uh, most scenes that you're editing should end with a nice wide shot. It's like a classic thing a lot of filmmakers do. If you were to come out and say like, I think every scene should end with a close up on someone's pinky finger. I'm not about to go on and be like, bro, that's fucking stupid. Why are you ending your shots? Like, don't go looking for a fight with people, even if you know you're right. You're talking about the title reigns of Harley Race and how many time and what whether it was won in Missouri or wherever. That's
Sure.
factual shit that you can like look up. I guess I was talking more about don't get into pissing contests with people over theory and things like that.
If there was an analytics of like when we die, whenever that will be, if someone said, "Hey, guess what? You spent 1,500,000 hours of your life watching television. You spent 3,600,286 hours of your life arguing on social media about the difference between your and your." or there and there, you kind of feel like an idiot. So um, life is precious, as we've talked about. We've experienced it with friends of ours passing away, of course. And so when you're talking about social media, it's almost like a job now. Like it's almost like this commodity. And Tommy, my theory is like a lot of inventions. The invention of social media was there before we, as a society, really knew what to do with it. Like we didn't really have a class or a lesson like, hey, keep this in moderation. Everyone just kind of went crazy with it, and by the time the toothpaste is out of the cat or whatever the expression is, it's too late because now
You
we
can't
got
put the
people addicted.
toothpaste back in the tube.
That's right. What does the cat have to do with it? You can't
It's
scratch the
got
cat.
nothing to do with the cat. The cat goes out of a bag. The
Oh,
cat is
that's
out of a bag. If you're putting toothpaste on your cat, well, hey, they must have really great dental hygiene.
sure.
Um, there's nothing wrong with that. I actually, I had a vet suggest that I brush my cat's teeth one time, and I looked at the lady like she was crazy. I was like, I'm not brushing my cat's teeth. Like, he can have fucked up teeth. He's a cat. Um, uh, he doesn't need a million. My cat does not need $1 million smile. I'm sorry.
Right.
Okay, so a couple last things as we close it out. You've heard of a biker gang. I'd like to join a liker gang. And I know you're saying, what the fuck is a liker gang? Well, I often go out of my way to like a few of my close buddies' pictures and posts. If I notice I got a handful of friends that kind of, okay, they're consistently posting stuff out there, I'm going to go out of my way to see what they did that day and like it. And that might be a dozen or so people that I'm really close buddies with. Mikey, you're one of them. And I kind of unofficially expect those motherfuckers to do the same thing in return to me. And we're in a liker gang, and we're riding up and down the highway in our motor likes, and I like your picture, you like my video, I'll like your
Aces
shit
and
back.
eights.
You comment on my shit, and then we'll roll up on a post together. We'll park our motor likes outside of the bar, and we'll all like the fucking post together, and we'll raise hell on everyone's social media pages, turning up and down the road on our liker gang.
Thumbs
Me
and
with that,
hearts.
brothers at arms, rolling up and down the internet roads, liking
Blue
each
thumbs
other's
and red
shit.
hearts.
Yeah, man. I mean, is that the name of our liker gang?
Yeah, blue thumbs and red hearts. How about that?
Yeah, we'll work on that. But but we're in the liker gang. Find your fucking liker buddies and get in that liker gang. And go out and be like, hey man, every time you post some shit, I'm gonna like it. And every time I post some shit, you're gonna like it too. Because you're in a fucking liker gang, and those are the fucking rules of this goddamn gang. Otherwise, take your fucking colors off and go find yourself another liker gang. Because we don't want you in ours if you ain't liking our shit.
There was IMDb Pro groups like a guy during the middle of the 2020 year. A guy was always encouraging people to do like you like everyone else's IMDb page, or you
Like
have to
for
go to
likes. Yeah, see, I'm not even talking about that shit. I'm just
I
talking about like
good old
we
fashioned
all
likes.
yeah, find those people that consistently post and go out of your way to like their shit. And guess what? They're gonna like your shit back probably.
Right.
That's something that like I spend a lot of time going out of my way to see who's out there. And it's like anything else in life, man. You get what you give, right? You get what you give. So if you think that you're gonna just post shit and everyone's gonna like your shit, but you're never gonna go out of the way to like other people's shit, it ain't gonna work. You
Right.
gotta you gotta give back a little bit, and then you'll see the people that maybe it's a perfect stranger and you just liked something that they did, like that shit, and they'll probably track you down and give a little something back. As we call it in the business, they'll give you a receipt for that. You get a little receipt in the form of
Or in other businesses, the
a
reach
like.
around. Yeah.
Well, I don't know what businesses that is, but this is a family show, Mike.
Yeah.
Um, so that's an important one. Be part of a liker gang. Here's another one, guys. On Instagram, I do this a lot. Don't spend too much time because time is so valuable, but go to a hashtag that you are interested in. For me, I go to hashtag filmmaking, and I'll go to hashtag filmmaking, and I'll just scroll through, and maybe I'll just like a few random hashtag filmmaking posts. I like action figures. Maybe I'll just like a few random action figure hashtags. And you know what that does? That opens you up to a whole new world of people. A whole new, like, oh, who's this guy from Rhode Island that just liked my picture? Oh shit, look at him. He's a filmmaker. Oh, no shit. He's got a movie on Hulu. I got Hulu. Hey, honey, this random director guy just liked my Spider-Man picture. Oh yeah, he makes movies. No shit. You know what I think of that as? Hey, if you own a pizza shop, you might go to all the cars in a local college and you might put your flyer for your new pizza shop in their fucking windshield wiper, right? Little bit of a flyer. Well, when I go up and randomly like some random motherfucker's post online, I'm basically putting my pizza shop's flyer in their windshield wiper, and I'm saying, "Hey, how you doing? I'm Tom DeNucci. I make movies. These are some of the movies. If you want to take a look at them, you can watch them. They're out there. By the way, I love that Batman photo that you just posted, and have a nice day." And again, these are all things that just happen. Michael Plunkett, the bastard son. I like that name. That sounds kind of like a wrestler. Michael, the bastard son, Plunkett. Thank you for finding this interesting. Thank you for commenting on with us here and joining
He's
us
got his
on.
own logo there of some kind. I'm trying to
Yeah,
figure
that's
out what.
dope. Yeah, what is that? It's like a wing. It's like a. I see a P and a cross. Maybe that's P for Plunkett. Mike, we like your logo, and we like that you're watching And Action on our special Wednesday edition. Kim, I hate to say it, Kim, but whether you like it or not, you're already in my liker gang,
Oh, gee whiz.
and we're riding till the wheels fall off.
I was going to mention, Tommy, another social media platform we didn't talk about is
Oh,
Reddit.
it's Michelle. I'm so sorry, Michelle. Thank you, Stephen. It's Michelle, not
Yeah.
Michael. I'm
Oh,
reading
Michelle
a little
Plunkett.
quickly.
Michelle.
Michelle Plunkett, thank you for
Thanks,
checking us
Stevie.
out, and we like your logo very
So,
much.
well, Michelle is Michael in France. So I wonder if Michelle Plunkett is French.
Yeah.
Um, but Reddit is an interesting social media platform, Tom, because it has this system of karma. And I don't know if you've done Reddit, but it's like you have to like a bunch of stuff in order for your karma to increase. And you can't just go through and hit like a bunch of times because you only get two likes every 10 minutes or something like that. So Reddit is kind of complicated, but in a way it's kind of good because you can't just be like a just garbage posting or just liking everything. You have to put some time into Reddit, but some things do take off from there. Some things go cyber, as it were, from Reddit. It happens sometimes.
Yeah, I don't mess around with Reddit too much, but that is interesting that they have a little bit of a filter on how much you can post. It turns out Michelle is a filmmaker. Well,
No, very good.
again, welcome to And Action. And we're happy to have you with us. Just a couple of things to round it out. Obviously, guys, adding hashtags to your post. This is all like very simple stuff that, you could literally read on any, like, if you Google, social media for idiots, this stuff would be on there. But it's still important to just remind yourself because sometimes I forget to even do this shit. But when you post, hashtags go a long way. Don't forget to find a few hashtags that you think will help generate some additional eyes to what you're doing. Consistency is key, like a lot of things. I think people kind of make a post expected to get 100 likes right away, and then if it doesn't, maybe they're kind of like, ooh, and they're maybe a little less less excited to post again the next time. And the reality is, with social media, like anything else, you got to be consistent. And maybe you'll get to watch those posts grow from 4 or 5 likes to 10 likes to 20 likes to the sky's the limit. If you keep consistent and you keep some quality content out there, that hey, people can get excited about. Remember, I used the term. There's an old television marketing Nielsen rating back in the old Nielsen rating days, destination programming. And that used to mean when like a TV show was so popular that you just knew, like, for example, 9 o'clock on Thursday nights, I'm watching Seinfeld. It's destination programming. My ass is going to be on that couch watching it. You got to kind of like make your posts destination posts in a way where, like, oh, I know that Stephen E posts about his movies every Tuesday. Let me check that out. It's Tuesday. I'm gonna check it out. Or I know that, Kim always posts a funny video every Wednesday. Today's Wednesday. Let me watch that. And listen, it might not be that cut and dry. Like, they might not even be thinking this. These kind of thoughts might be just totally embedded in their brain. They're not going to maybe consciously say, like, oh, so and so posts every day at this time. but they'll just kind of know it if you're consistent. They'll just like see you there, and your post can become that friendly hug in a hostile goddamn environment of the choppy waters of social media. And here's another thing too: if you're posting a bunch of stuff and it's not working, maybe shift it a little bit. You know, like if you're posting a certain type, if your wording is a certain way, or if you're posting a certain set of photos, or you're posting certain selfie a certain way at the whatever. If your shit's not working, try something else. You know, don't be afraid to adjust fire. And the last thing I'll kind of leave you with, well, there's two last things that I want to leave you with. One, don't worry about overposting. Remember, the person who's like, "Oh, I can't believe you're promoting your stupid podcast again." That person's not going to ever watch your show anyway.
Right.
They don't like you. So fuck what they think. So post as much as you feel necessary. And if that means it's every day, the people that really give a shit about you, they're going to be cool with that. They're not going to have a problem. And here's the thing, because of these mystery algorithms, we don't know really what people are seeing and what they aren't seeing. So the more times you shoot it out there, the better. And overall, this is the last thing that I will leave you with. Have fun. Remember, social media is social. It's supposed to be an upbeat thing. Um, don't be afraid to use posts that you know are going to get other people excited. You know, I like to get other people excited. That's what kind of gets me excited. So photo dumps are big these days. All the kids are doing the photo dumps. And you probably say, what's a photo dump? Well, you'll see, like, for example, like I just was on a movie. It was called Blunt Movie. If I wanted to post like 10 or 15 pictures from my time on Blunt Movie, I would just go Blunt Movie photo dump. I would literally type that, and then you just post all your shit. And it's funny because like I love seeing these trends because it used to be like when Facebook first started, people used to do photo dumps. They didn't call them photo dumps. They would just be like, my vacation to Fort Lauderdale. And they'd post
Right.
30 pictures like it's an album. But then over time, it kind of became like, no, 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 no. Pick that one or two pics, and that's going to be your centerpiece. Don't be posting 80 fucking pics. And now, sure enough, like every other thing, you know, every other cyclical trend, here it is back. But now with a cute phrase, photo dump. So photo dumps are good, and here's why I like photo dumps.
Yeah.
I can include other people in photo dumps. Let's say I'm at a party. I can put Jimmy's picture and Susie's picture and Karen's and Steve's and Billy and Bob, and suddenly all these people are seeing pictures of them, and you're servicing their own fucked up little egos. And as a byproduct, you're getting them to be interested in your post while stroking them off, and they don't even realize it. So, photo dumps are key for that. Include motherfuckers into your post. They might even share your shit. They might like that picture that you post so much that they fucking share it. Now you got all their friends looking at your shit. So, it takes a groups of what is it, a village of many to kind of raise your Instagram following or your social media
It
following.
takes a village. Yeah,
There,
just the photo dump, it reminded me, buddy, of my old Facebook account. I took such pride in my photo portfolios or the photo
the albums.
albums. Yeah, I used to take a lot of pride in that, and I'd have
I
them
did too.
breaking down by, like, if I was in Maine or if
Yeah,
I went to Orlando in 2009 with a friend of mine. I had all these different albums, and then with my new account, it's a lot not like that anymore. I just want to mention a couple of quick little bullet points, Tommy. There's some other, for people that are looking to do things like what we're doing here with StreamYard. There's a great website called matchmaker.fm where you can find podcast hosts or guests. They do have the free version and the paid version. I've done it both ways, but Matchmaker is a good social media thing that people may not know about. Film Freeway, if you're a filmmaker or an actor and you're looking to submit your films or your acting reels or your photos, Film Freeway is what I use for Avalonia Festival. It's a great website. Actors Access, if you're looking to submit your uh, headshot resume reels to projects in your area, it is a paid website, but that's kind of social media, more professional. And of course, like I said, YouTube is technically a social media platform that people just don't know it. And if, as you said earlier, Tommy, if people go to MikeMessier.com and scroll down, I actually have a section called Stand Me on Social, where I have all my social media links, the YouTube and Twitter and everything else. No TikTok yet, but maybe tomorrow.
Yeah, so basically, that's what we have for this week's show. Next week, we're going to get into, we're going to do a deep dive on a film of mine, a movie that I worked on a little while back. It's called The Opposite Sex, but it's also called A Bet's a Bet. And I know what you're thinking. How does this have two names? And we're going to get into all that and more next week. The movie stars Keenan Thompson, who's one of the funniest human beings alive. Jeff Stoltz, who is another incredibly funny guy and a super talented actor. Christian Chenoweth. Just a really great film, great
Eva
comedy.
Savari,
Eva
Jonathan
Savari's in that
Silverman,
one, so it's going to be
John.
fun. We haven't done a dive on a movie in a few weeks, so we're going to be talking all about the opposite sex next week on End Action. We're going to try and come at you Tuesday next week. We thank you for joining us on this random Wednesday. It's always fun chatting social media. We hope you learned a little something. If you have any questions for us that we didn't address on the show, feel free to drop down a little something in our comments and we'll get to it throughout the week, or maybe we'll talk about it top of the show next week. We are looking for sponsors. It's funny here. Stephen E just said, get them all for sponsors. If you're interested in a sponsorship opportunity, drop down a comment and I'll write you an email. We'll exchange emails and we'll talk about that. You can get involved in advertising with And Action for a very affordable rate. And we promise to plug and promote you the best we can. And also, I've said this before, but the subscriptions are huge. If you haven't subscribed to the Tom DiNucci YouTube channel, please do. My name is spelled right like that, right there. Right there, boom, Tom DiNucci, DENUCCI. And that's where we broadcast And Action from every week, usually on Tuesdays. The subscriptions go a long way. My goal is to get to 1,000
Actually,
subscribers.
you have a request. Sorry to cut you off, but I didn't want you to miss it. Krazia,
Yeah, I see it right here. Let's see here.
as I go back
Thanks,
to reading
guys.
my own book again this week, Tommy. I'm going to read my own book today.
Oh boy.
Just going to read it again. And also, I interviewed you and Jonathan Silverman, and I think our friend David Gear at the red carpet for The Opposite Sex. So those are
Well,
on my YouTube channel. Some fun interviews from that night.
well, we'll have to break those out again and shine some light on them. Kim, thanks for being with us today. Always time well spent with you as well. And let's see, how do I pronounce this? Crazia?
I think Krazia is how I would, maybe
Either
Portuguese or
Crazia or
Brazilian.
Crazia. Can you also talk about Lucy's? We are certainly going to do a show about Lucy's sometime or another. That is definitely in the mix. So be on the lookout for our Lucy's episode as well. And you know what's funny? We shot Lucy's I want to say we shot that in August. So you know what? Crazia? I'm sorry if I'm saying it wrong. Maybe, just maybe, we'll do Lucy's the week after Opposite Sex. So maybe we'll do Lucy's in a couple weeks. And then I can't believe it already, guys. Just to look a little bit down the road, in a few weeks, the week of 9/11, we'll be talking about The Man in Red Bandana, which is a incredibly powerful documentary that I had the honor to be a producer on. So we're going to be chatting about a lot of movies coming up down the road as we march our way towards, can you believe it, Mike? The end of the summer. Good God.
Well, yeah, man, it's we don't even have SummerSlam to look forward to because it's already taken place already.
Right. That's right. SummerSlam
They
is usually
screwed up our
August.
whole agenda.
Stephen E wants to know, isn't there a festival viewing of your new film coming up? Yes, there sure is. We're going to be playing Knockout Blonde at the Voices Rising Festival in New York on September 30th, I believe. I'm still trying to figure out what the ticket information is on that. I'm not sure how big of a screening it is. I'm not sure how many tickets I'm going to have available to me, but we would love for as many people to see that as possible. And I will be having a little more info on the actual wide release about Knockout Blonde coming soon. So, that said, It's been always a pleasure, and we look forward to catching up with you next week on In Action. Have a great week, everybody.